All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shatir from the Chicago camp coming back to you with what I hope is another quick edifying sit down. And yeah, as you're reading on the screen, okay, something just came about where it says another Israelite woman, she's not black, she's an Israelite woman, okay? It says was found hanging from a tree in Jackson, Mississippi. They're not releasing any details, and she was so high up, the fire department had to retrieve her by using their ladder. Please do not let her story go unheard and her name unmentioned. And it's funny when you watch this video, they're playing a song by Nina Simone. I believe it was also, I want to say it was probably originally done by, I think her name is Etta James. But I highly go recommend you listen to that song. No, let me know what. Let me see if I can bring the song up. No, it's Billie Holiday. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. It was Billie Holiday. So it says strange fruit. It says southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black body swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth. Scent of magnolia sweet and fresh, then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the tree to drop. Here is a strange and bitter crop. I mean, this is probably one of the top 10 most powerful and sad songs I have ever heard. When I first heard it, I was just like, oh my goodness, you know? But it's about lynching. Same thing that happened then, it's happening now. You know, this guy is still showing his hatred for you Israelites. As the scripture clearly tells us, uh, hmm, what is that? Let me put this on pause and find it. I'm trying to find the passage. Who can make a crooked thing straight? Hold on. I finally remember how it's worded. Ecclesiastes 7 and 13, it says, consider the work of the Most High, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? And that's bad Uncle Esau. Okay? You can't make somebody good who was made for the purpose of evil. Okay, this has been his MO since the beginning. When you go into Genesis, what's that, 27 and 38? No, Genesis 27 and 40. Actually, 39. Actually, I'm starting at 38. Forget it. Genesis 27 and 38. It says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And as I said, that's happened then. That lynching has happened many years ago and is still happening to today. This man's hatred for us has not stopped. And the scripture tells us that. Amos 1 and 11. It says, thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, me having no mercy. It says, and his anger did tear perpetually, meaning without a break. It never stopped, without ceasing. It says, and kept his wrath forever. That literally means forever. Okay, because when was that song Strange? Man, when did that song come out? It was released in 1939.
Strange Fruit was released in 1939 by Billie Holiday through Commodore Records. It started as a poem in 1937 by Abel Meeropol. She first performed it live in early 1939, and it became a big success, serving as an early anthem for the civil rights movement.
Yeah, so it originally started as a poem, but then it was sung. So, I mean, and you have to remember, this is coming off of the brutal massacres of many Jake towns back in the day, the Red Summer. Let me, not to go too far off the subject, but
The Red Summer occurred in 1919, a time of significant racial violence and riots across the United States, following the end of World War I.
let me ask, when did it end?
The Red Summer occurred in 1919. The most intense racially motivated violence happened from late May through late autumn of that year, although related incidents took place from January to December.
Okay. All right. So, but yet and still, you're talking about what? That's 20 years ago? The Red Summer happened in 1919, and then Strange Fruit, the song portion of it, came out in 1939. And then you fast forward to 2026, and we have the same thing, strange fruit hanging from trees. This is why we're telling you, Jakes, to wake up. This man is not. He's not for our term. He does not wish us well in any way, shape, form, or fashion. As when you go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, it says, started at 9, it says, let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this. Basically, leave their landmarks. Okay, and what's a lot of their landmarks? I mean, it's not just landmarks, but they do have a lot of landmarks. But what do they put up? These monuments of these so-called brave Edomite men who were really rapists, robbers, and murderers, okay, who have participated in many lynchings, okay? And it says that let us oppress the poor righteous man, let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. And he spared not. This young woman, I would say, from what I heard, she's probably not even older than 40. So she's not old, but not young. You know, she might have been a young woman. I haven't heard any reports that specifically gave out her age yet. All right. And it says, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. And that's what they do. Because back in the day, they used to be able to just lynch with impunity. Now, it somewhat still happens today, but they got to be kind of careful about it. Since, you know, all these things such as civil rights came into play. But the thing is, even with that, because they are the nation of Edom, they have laws that still benefit them to where they can still get off the hook for murder. It says, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy the transgressions of our education. Right? So just as we are not for bad Uncle Esau's turn, because his mentality is completely opposite of the Bible, it works the same thing, vice versa. All right, this devil is mad that his forefather gave up the blessing, which really wasn't his to begin with anyway. But these devils are mad because their forefather gave away the blessing, and it's no hope of getting that blessing back. So he said, as we just read in here, well, fuck it. It's going to be our time to rule, and we're going to do whatever we want to, and we're going to do it to the most wicked we can possibly do it. And we're going to have no mercy when we do it. That's this guy. What does it tell you in John 10 and 10? I've been getting this a lot in my sit-downs. It tells you that the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. And that's what this guy has been doing ever since he's gotten back into power during the time of the Renaissance, from the late 1400s until now. And one of his main instruments of death has been lynching. And there's many books that you can check out as it pertains to this history. Let me see if I can just bring some up real quick.
Books about lynching in America document racial terror victims and the fight for civil rights. Some key titles include Without Sanctuary, The 1619 Project, At the Hands of Persons Unknown, and On the Courthouse Lawn.
It also gives you A Festival of Violence, an analysis of Southern lynchings, 1882 to 1930. So yeah, this is nothing new. And this is racially motivated. Now, whether this was an incident where guys were just doing it to do it, or was this an incident to incite race riots? I don't know. I can't tell you that. But what I do know is that regardless of whether it was just meant this was guys did this just to do it, or for it to be used to spark racial violence, it still doesn't take away the fact that either way you look at it, this action was completely motivated by hate and hatred for you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, a young man, a young woman, an old man, old woman, a child, in your right mind, handicapped, autistic, don't matter. In their eyes, you're less than nothing, and you will always be nothing. Jake, you gotta wake up. Know who you are. Come to the understanding of who you are and understand who your enemy is. Because this guy knows you're the enemy. So what's your deal? So that's all I wanted to say on this. Hope you're all edified. Till the next time, we're going to say Shalom.